This is the best card in the set. It's not even close.
It's a very simple system here. We've got a lot of cards to get through, so we're going to be talking about it very shortly and then coming up with a rating from one star to 5 stars. Let's get into it. Hey, YouTube, it's Alphos and pro Lorcana player RMB here. We are excited to get into set 3 and some deck building. I know RMB has already been brewing up some lists in the first few days, but I haven't had a look at any of the cards yet outside of a few from the spoiler season. So today we're going to be rating every single card from Lorcana into the Inklands. Hello, RMB. How are you?
What's up, Alphos? Always good to work with you, brother.
First up, we have Baloo von Brunwald VIII, a free-cost, uninkable bodyguard character with the ability, when this character is banished, gain 2 lore. Now, as you were saying in the preamble before we started recording, some people are quite hyped about this card, but my thought process is we're not really adding anything to the board state, even in an aggressive deck, at the benefit of only gaining 2 free lore.
Yeah, I mean, so it does give Amber something that purple benefited greatly from in set 2, which is uninteractive lore gain, which is, I think, probably the allure that comes. It's also a bodyguard, so it's more of an annoyance than anything else. It's going to put something, in front of an actual target. And oh, by the way, if you deal with it, like, I'm going to gain 2 free lore out of it.
So I do agree with you. I think the uninteractive lore gain is something especially aggressive decks can benefit from, as we see in Lemon and Lime, in that final reach to close out a game. But I'm not sure if this card, as an uninkable, adds enough value. There's already so many uninkables you want to slot in.
Yeah, the uninkable is the part that kind of kills it for me. There's too many premiums in the uninkable slots in every color pairing right now. So
yeah, and even in the free
pretty
cost
low on
slot
it
is so
myself.
pivotal as well, right? Like we have cards like Doc that we want to be playing on free.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, what do we say? Like a 2-star? It has some value.
2.
It's not terrible. Yeah, okay, that's a 2-star.
I'd say 2.
I'm gonna pull that 2-star down because it looks like it's way too far up. Sweet. All right, let's go swiftly onto the next card with our very professional transition of changing out the image from my files. Next up, we have Bernard, brand new agent, a 4-cost inkable 1/5 with the ability at the end of your turn, if this character is exerted, you may ready another chosen character of yours 2 lore. I think this is interesting. Like, I like the ability, but it's the stat line that kind of hurts for me. Like, I mean, it's still kind of a Rapunzel, but it doesn't have a consistent effect of Rapunzel to draw a card and heal up your board.
It's an interesting effect though. Like, we don't have instant speed interaction in this game, which I'm happy about, don't get me wrong, but these beginning of turn and end of turn triggers add a new element to the game that we haven't seen in previous sets. For face value, I wouldn't play this card. In the 4-drop slot, a 1/5 that quest for 2, I'm just gonna play Rapunzel. It's just not better than Rapunzel, but I'm willing to be wrong on this card.
Although if you do see it in draft, I feel like this would be a great like limited format card.
Bomb.
And if you get 2 on the board, that's kind of crazy because they can just ready each other and keep them impervious to attacking.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely draft 2 of this guy.
I'd say this is a solid 3-star, right? Like there could be value in the future, but not right now.
Yeah, 2 to 3 range. Say like
yeah,
2.5.
2.5. All right, next card. Now we have Chernobog. This card has got a ton of people super excited, especially Howling. You were just talking about it before. You've been brewing. I've been thinking of cards with this deck, and I think we've all been on similar wavelengths because, guys, this is insane. It is a 10-cost uninkable, which sounds like a lot, but is a 9/9 that quests for free with 2 abilities, and this is the most important one. Each character card in your discard, you pay 1 ink less to play this character. And less importantly, when you play this character, shuffle all character cards from your discard into your deck. Now, to talk about the obvious good bits first, if you're playing an aggro or mid-range deck, you're going to get a lot of characters into your discard, especially playing into control. So having this as like a late game finisher that you can slam down for cheap alongside another powerful 5 or 6 cost card is such a great way to close out games. I think the really interesting ability that people don't talk about much is the shuffling character cards back into your deck. Kind of bad, because a lot of the time we're playing low cost cards early on, so you have to be aware that it's sort of diluting the pool of your good top decks after you play this card.
Well, I mean, it depends if you're just like a super aggressive deck. So imagine, in set 2, really, really early on, we had this yellow-purple hyper aggro deck that was just like a bunch of 1-drop quest for 2 dudes. Imagine if like you didn't have to worry about whether or not they were banished in a challenge. You just turn them sideways every single turn, and eventually you're going to play a Chernobog for free and then put them all back in the deck. Like, putting them back in the deck, granted, isn't super great, but in Hearthstone, we had very, very similar cards. You had Molten Giant that you could effectively cast for free. This is our version of Molten Giant. I am incredibly hyped for this card. I've been playing it in hyper aggressive shells. I've been playing it in mid-range shells Rapunzels with Wheel to like intentionally put cards into my discard so that I can play
That's
this
a
thing
really
for
interesting
free.
idea.
And then like you don't get punished by the fact that you just wheeled away, you know, a bunch of your Rapunzels because you can just put them right back in the deck. But I think casting this card for free is just an absolutely bonkers interaction in the game. It's got a massive stat line. It also just quests for 3. This guy's not going anywhere unless he eats a piece of hard removal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it especially going into steel decks, it's the kind of card that's impossible to remove without Ruby and Sapphire's like unlimited stat single target removal. I think to go back on my point I made earlier though, because this is an amber card, you're very likely to be running Rockstar Stitch, so you can still benefit off of putting 1 and 2 cost cards back into your deck because you can cycle through them and get a bunch of cards out on the board.
Yeah, huge fan of this card. Absolutely love Chernobog.
I think we could put this at 5-star, right? Like we're convinced this is going to have an impact on the meta in some form.
So here's
it will
the thing.
work in a tier 1
I
deck.
think it's a great card. Is it meta defining? Probably not. But it is a very, very good card. You're also not going to run 4 of this card. I would say this is probably a solid 4 for me. I think I reserve the right for 5s to be the like top tier. Like if you're playing this color, you're absolutely playing this card.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, I agree more with that logic. I'd still put it as a 4.5. I can see it as being a staple in a lot of mid-range and aggressive decks. So, but yeah, 4 for now. We'll go 4 for an agreement. All right.
Plus, it has an amazing enchanted.
Oh yeah, dude. I know I've seen some people complaining about the art for the enchanteds this set, but I just love them. For the next one, we actually have 4. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 5 variations of the same card. This is Dalmatian Puppy. We have Tail Wagger. Oh no, they're all Tail Waggers. It's just different art. So good luck collecting all 5 versions for you to run off in your deck. And yeah, it's the abilities something. It's funny.
It's a card. Casual people are gonna eat this card up. Does it have a place in the competitive meta? Probably not. But you know that somebody's gonna show up to their local leagues with a 101 Dalmatians deck. And like they're just gonna have fun,
and they're gonna win at least one game, and they're gonna talk about that game for the rest of their set, and they should, because that is a fun moment. That is like a jovial card gaming moment. You know, you don't always have to be super competitive and try hard like we are. Like sometimes the game's just about having fun. Crazy concept, I know, right? Having fun with your card game.
Achievement unlocked, fun obtained.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely like the angle they've been going with this set and getting more creative in design. Like 99 copies of a card to fit the thematics of like the movies and Disney IP, I think is a nice move. Like this kind of card shouldn't impact the meta too much because it does change the core of the game a lot. I think we can put this as a 1 star. It's fun.
Yeah.
But we're not playing it.
Yeah, it's cute. Plus the arts are adorable. I'm going to collect at least 1 of each foil.
Oh, good point. And next we have the next card, Joshua Sweet the Doctor. They are a 4-cost inkable with some very fun-looking elixir that they're brewing up. A 1/5, another Rapunzel-like stat line. Bodyguard, this time Bodyguard though, quest for 2. Now, this does have some value over Rapunzel. If you're not planning on healing damage to draw cards, Bodyguard is slightly better.
No, it isn't.
Well, not in like a vacuum.
Have you read Rapunzel? You can draw 3 cards with that card.
Yeah. That's not in a vacuum, but it has like other use cases, right? It's not strictly worse.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like for face value, like when you think about the slot that it's taking up, cards like Bernard and Joshua Sweet are just going to get overlooked because we already have absolutely insane cards in those slots already. Rapunzel is just the value engine that Amber needs to continue to churn through cards and pressure your opponent. It's a cool card. Like I'm gonna draft it because a 1/5 in draft is pretty incredible.
1/5 quest 2 Bodyguard in draft's pretty great, but do you know what was better in draft? Set 1 Rapunzel.
Yeah, also set 1 Rapunzel. That is correct.
Yeah, I'd say what did we put Bernard at? 2-star?
Yeah, I think we put Bernard at 2.
Yeah, I think it's safe to go back at 2, huh?
I'd put it at a 1, but I'd play Bernard over this.
Yeah, okay, fair.
At least Bernard has an end
Bernard does have it does have a really cool 1.5. Yeah, but lean towards 1. I think is less than 1.5 if you're leaning towards 1.5, but we're rounding down. Okay, and the next card is Hida. This is, I mean, it's not much to say here. It's a 1-cost 2/2. We've all seen it before. What is interesting is the Atlantean text on it, and that it shifts into another Kida, which we'll cover later on. I mean, it's just a Rockstar Stitch. 4-star, it's going to get used. It can shift. Let's move on. Next is the whole Kida. The reason you are playing that Kida over Stitch. Protector of Atlantis, 5-cost inkable, 3/5, shift free, When you play this character, all characters, opponents and your own, minus free attack until the start of your next turn. And it quests for 2. This card, I think, is nuts. You just play this card and question your opponent's face, and they can't trade into you. Like, the only thing that counters this effect is, like, Rush, because then it avoids the minus damage.
Not only that, but... So here's the thing that I actually really love about Kita. Number one, like, it can stall out board states to where you can just aggressively quest, but Challenger is not affected by Kita's ability. So if you have a lot of characters with Challenger, you can play Kita, nuke the entire board, and then attack in with your challengers, because Challenger is an ability. They still get that attack, and you can attack through without taking any damage on it. I think this card is absolutely nuts. I think this is a meta-defining card. I have been testing it and playing with it, and I love this card so much. It is an absolute blowout. There have been, I'll just play a bunch of goons, slap this on the board, quest for 7, and like that lore advantage it's just wild to me. I love this card.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can say this is an easy 5-star, right? Easy 5-star. Like, this is gonna have an impact on the game.
It's a sleeper card too, and not a lot of people are talking about it. And I had mostly looked it over until I started playing with it and was like, oh, this card's good.
Hey, I can say that when I first saw the card, I was like, this is a banger. I was convinced the moment I saw that reveal. I think it's because it doesn't have as an exciting of an effect as a lot of the other legendaries in the set, so people, are less keen on building with it. But it's one of those cards that just generates so much value that it's gonna win games. Okay, and the next card is Lucky, the 15th puppy, 4-cost, uninkable, 2 free, with 2 abilities. Number 1, tap to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put each character card with cost 2 or less into your hand, put the rest from the bottom of your deck in any order. And whenever this character quests, if you have 4 or more other characters in play, your other characters get +1 lore this turn. This is obviously meant to go with the 101 Dalmatians card. Outside of that, doesn't feel very good.
The uninkability and the poor stat line is really a deterrent for me. And the fact that it only quests for 1 itself, it does have one of those unique effects, kind of like the, the Mulan in set 1 that when it challenges and banishes a character, like, I'm sure somebody's going to probably come up with some type of like way that they can make their board quest for a bunch and try to win in 1 turn with it. But uninkable, I'm probably not playing this over any of the other uninkables that we currently have access to.
Yeah, I mean, uninkable cards need to be super impactful, and this one just isn't, and it's very much a build-around card. So yeah, maybe one day we'll see a good build-around for it, but today is not that day. 2-star for future potential, like in future sets?
That's gracious. That's gracious.
Okay, we'll be nice. It's got a lot of kids to feed, so we got to give it a 2-star.
It gets 2 stars at least for the art. It's adorable.
Oh, true. Oh, wait, no, I thought it was the dad. No, it is the kid.
It's Lucky. Yeah, it's Lucky.
I'm gonna be real here. I don't know the names of the Dalmatians.
Well, it's written on the card.
Oh yeah, I know now. Now I know it's called Lucky. Next up is Minnie Mouse, musical artist, 1 free, 2-cost singer free, just like Cinderella. But the difference is, we have another ability tapped on top. Whenever you play a character with Bodyguard, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. This obviously synergizes with cards like Simba. I don't know how much value we're getting out of it on curve.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack with this card. Number 1, it passes the stat line check. It's not an X2, so it doesn't die to Let the Storm Rage on, Teeth, and Ambitions. It's also a 2-cost, which is good, and it has not 1 but 2 relevant lines of text. A 2-cost being a singer 3 means that you can curve out, go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and still be able to sing Strength of a Raging Fire, making that card just a little bit better. We also had, the Bjornfoot Especial, the Tiana aggro lists that I think that this card's going to slot right into. Cards like the Prince are very, very difficult to deal with. And if we see a reduction in the amount of foxes flying around, it's going to take multiple turns worth of damage to some of these bodyguards to get them off of the field, and Minnie's just slots right in there and says, hey, I can remove
I'm going to
damage.
waste that turn.
Yeah, I like this card. I think it's probably a middle of the pack. It's not really a meta-defining card, but I'd give this a solid 3.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think it'll get use, but I don't think it's going to be the star of any deck. Okay, next up is Miss Bianca, Rescue Aid Society Agent, 2-cost, inkable, singer 4. Previously, believe we only had Singapore in Amber on Sebastian, which was a free cost.
Two
Now,
costs. This is a
oh, it
carbon
wasn't two
copy
costs.
of
Oh, it's the same.
Sebastian. Yeah.
It's just
It's the
Sebastian.
same card, different name, different art.
Okay, well, I previously did a video like months ago with Educated Collins where he'd never played the game, he was rating cards, and we looked at singers and we were like, that singer's good. Sebastian, we ended up being a bad card. But that was mainly because of the meta relevance of there being no good 4-cost cards to sing. Now we do have a 4-cost card to sing in the new set. We have the Steel card, and then along came Zeus, which we'll rate later. But do you think in the new set that Singer 4 is going to be more relevant than it was previously?
Not at the X2 stat line. I think that's its biggest detriment with cards like Fire the Cannons, Let the Storm Rage On, Teeth and Ambitions. Like, you have to play around those cards. You can't tap out on 2 for a 2/2 and they sing their song on their X3. They get to keep the board piece. You lose a board piece. You almost get time walked. I don't see it being a relevant card yet. Maybe that changes in the future.
Yeah, we'd need to see a shift away from the efficient X2 remove, or at least some way to prevent your opponent from using it. It's probably just going to go in 1-star, isn't it? It's still Sebastian tier, very sadly, because it is Sebastian. I thought it was different to Sebastian initially, but obviously I don't remember Sebastian because no one ever plays it.
Exactly.
Next up, we have Mr. Snoops, 6-cost Inkable, 4/8. Inept businessman, 2-law, and damn right this card is inept. Like, it's just not something you would ever play.
Mr. Nopes.
Yeah, I mean, add it into your deck for draft to fill out your curve, and that's about it. What more can I say? 1-star. Why play this? Don't use a deck slot. We have 60 cards in a deck. Don't waste it. All right, I like quick fire judgment. R&B didn't even need to say anything. They just scoffed. Next up, we have Nani. I love this movie, by the way. One of my favorite Disney movies. Protective Sister, Bodyguard, 2-law, 5 ink, 3/6. Maximus without the good effect.
It's a better Goofy. Goofy's a 5-drop, 3/6 with Bodyguard that only quests for 1.
True. I guess they realized Goofy was getting no use, even with their Musketeer synergy, so they just needed to print a better Goofy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For 5, I want to be doing something powerful and impactful, and a
tempo
3/6
swinging,
Bodyguard that dies to Maui is not it.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna probably 1-star, right? Like it's so.
Yeah.
Sadly, a lot of cards in these card games are filler, but that's what makes draft so fun. But because we're rating cards based on constructed, let's move on to Orville Ace Pilot. 2-cost 1/4 is an interesting stat line. It's 1 health more than an Olaf, but for a whole extra ink, that's all you're getting. It just doesn't seem like a useful stats. Like if this was a 1/5, that's a pain. That's different.
It's a Tamatoa Tiny Crab from Green from set 1, I think. Either set 1 or set 2. It's not going to see any play. I'm so sad because Orville, like I feel really bad because I love the Rescuers, and all of the Rescuers cards in this set are just they're not it. Like I feel like they did that entire franchise so dirty.
Well, hopefully we'll see some Rescuers redemptions in future set, but the Inklands is not it. Next up is another puppy. This time I'll read their name. Patch Intimidating Pup, 3/4 with the ability 4-cost Inkable with the ability Bark. Tap to chosen character gets -2 until the start of your next turn. At a 4-cost? This is coming in way too late for an ability like that, and it's just quest for 1. What is this card doing?
It's going into your bulk binder. Or your bulk box. It doesn't even deserve a binder.
1-star. Next, into the bulk. Next we have Perdita, 6-cost, uninkable, devoted mother, 1/6. When you play this character and whenever she quests, you may play a character with cost 2 or less from your discard for free. Now this is an interesting effect. This is one of the first cards that is summoning resources from our graveyard.
Yeah, I mean it definitely like pushes the boundary that like maybe at some point we'll have actual Reanimator, but this card is very similar to a Magic card called Sun Titan, where it gets to bring like a 2-cost or less from the discard back to the field, which is an incredibly powerful effect. It also passes the Flaversham test that it ETBs and on quest does the ability. I think that this card's good. I don't know how good it is. I don't know what shell it belongs in.
For non-Magic players, ETB is like on play.
Yeah, enter the battlefield, or when you cast, when you play something. I think it's a good card. I don't think it's going to be meta defining. I think it's probably like a solid 3.5. Like this card's definitely going to see some amount of play, and it's going to take someone with a bigger brain than I have to like break it.
Yeah, like I think there's something here. Like visibility is very strong, but it needs the right context to work. And I think because of that potential, we can probably put it at a 3-star.
Yeah, I think so.
And I've just looked at the time. We're gonna speed things up. We're gonna be more speedy. So we're gonna save the long talks for like really interesting cards.
Too easy.
Next up is Piglet. Who Pirate Captain, 2-cost inkable, 2/2. While you have 2 or more other characters in play, this character gets +2 lore. And it comes with 1 lore. This is, as we've talked about, maybe just a more consistent inkable pain.
4-star. Love this card. Amazing artwork. Great card. I'm gonna play with this. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this. This is just such a pumper in aggressive decks. And nice and speedy. Let's keep it up. Next up, we have Pluto, Determined Defender, 7-cost inkable, free 8, quest for 2, shift 5, bodyguard, and with the ability, at the start of your turn, remove up to 3 damage from this character. I think that last ability doesn't matter as much, because most of the time you're going to be removing a character in one go, but just for free 8 stat line, quest for 2, bodyguard, and it shifts onto the Pluto you probably already want to be running. I think this card's decent.
Yeah, it's good. The the shift target's better, but I've played it. It's solid. It's reasonable. It's not the Pluto I'm excited about though.
The next Pluto is super exciting, but for now, should we put this as a 2-star? Like this, it fills lists.
Yep, 2-ish.
Okay, and next up we have Pluto. The reason you'll be running that Pluto, a 1-cost uninkable 0/2 with the ability tap to pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. So it is a lantern on a stick quest at 1 cost. Quest for 1, which you're probably not going to be questing. You're just going to be ramping.
This is one of the best cards in the set. It's by far the best uncommon in the set. This is the first 5 for me. And any type of time you have a mana dork, another magic term, but that's effectively what this is. It's a lantern on a body on 1. Absurd card. It's just so incredibly good. I've played a ton of this card. I've brewed a bunch of decks around it. I'm looking to get my first playset of foils of this card.
I mean, that is some high praise, especially as R&B is usually quite cautious when reviewing cards, and I gotta agree, this is crazy. This is an effect we've loved on Dock on a 3-cost, on Lantern on a 2-cost, and now we're getting it on a 1-cost? Like, how much ramp does Amber need before Sapphire is no longer the ramp ink? Anyway, yeah, 5-star, amazing. Let's carry on. After Pluto, I have to start scrolling for cards now. We have Pongo, Determined Father, 3-cost inkable, 3/2. Once per turn, you may pay 2 to reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. I mean, this is crazy, right? Because we're just paying 2 ink to draw a card without even exerting, so we can keep this card protected and unable to be attacked, and forcing and baiting out removal from control decks to stop you from drawing. That's crazy. Like, really, really good.
Yeah, this deck's going to be insane in Mufasa shells that just run 60 characters. You're going to pay 2 every turn, basically just draw a card off the top, never not hit. I think this card's very, very good. I'm somewhere between a 3 and a 4. Like, I think it's a really strong 3.5. A case could be made for it being a 4. I think
I'm leaning
very,
4.
very good.
I think I'm leaning 4 because on average it's maybe not amazing, but in the decks where it is good, it is great. All right, and next card.
Haven't even made it through Amber yet.
Yeah, literally. Queen of Hearts. Let's go. Let's keep speeding up. Queen of Hearts, 1-land Empress, 3-cost inkable, 3/3. Whenever this character quests, your other villain characters get +1 this turn. I am not convinced that villain synergy is good. Still not. Even with all the support we're seeing.
Maybe at some point in the future, like maybe it's like a 2, 1.5, but as of right now, there's just more powerful things you can be doing.
Yeah. No, I think 1 could be a 2. Maybe if someone makes a good villain deck. Perfect for a theme tonight. And next up, we have Rolly, Hungry Pup, 3/3 support. Whatever. It's a card. 1 star, move on. And we have Tinkerbell, Generous Fairy, 4 cost, uninkable, 1/4. Whenever you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's kind of like a Gaston, but it only quests for 1, and it has a worse stat line, and yeah, I don't know, it just feels worse.
It's like a Be Our Guest on a body that's bad. Like, if I could give this a 0, I would.
Yeah.
It's uninkable, poor stat line, only quest for 1. Like, we already have a song that does it better.
Next up is Wendy Darling. 1 free, quest for 2, 2 cost. That's good.
Yeah, just a strict upgrade from LeFou.
Yeah, that's nice. Full star? It's just going to be running aggro decks?
3. I don't know about 4.
Yeah, 3.
4
it's a
is
good
like
card.
pushing the bounds of like, this is a crazy card. This is
Okay,
a reasonable card. This is still filler.
But it's stats. It's just good value.
Yeah,
you know?
it has very good stats.
And now we enter our first action card. 5 cost, uninkable, 99 puppies. Whenever one of your character quests this turn, game 1 lore. Beast OTK Relentless deck?
I don't know. The 5 cost uninkable.
That feels kind of like Pack Tactics.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Pack Tactics. Like, when I think about 5 cost uninkables, I think about Grab Your Swords. This is not Grab Your Swords.
This is not Grab Your Sword. This is not winning you games. This is winning you games you've already won. Like closing out games.
Whole New World. It's not even a song. It's just,
yeah,
it's just
1 star. There's too many good cards at 5 cost uninkable. Boss's Orders. Chosen character gains support this turn whenever they quest. Oh, lost it. Boss's Orders have disappeared. Chosen character gains support this turn. 1 cost.
Single use Scepter of Arendelle?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Bye. 1 star. Oh, wait, is that the first location, or did I skip a card? I skipped a card.
You skipped 4 cards.
I skipped many cards. Heal what has been hurt. Remove up to 3 damage from chosen character. Draw a card. Feels worse than Storm Rage on.
It was bulk.
Yeah. 1 star. I really need to stop having to scroll to each new image. 1 cost inkable, quick patch. Remove up to 3 damage from chosen location. I don't think that's good either. These 1 cost like cards need to have 1 use cards need to have more impact than this.
I mean, how much more impact do you want out of a 1 cost card?
It needs to end the game. Now we have Bare Necessities, 2 cost inkable, Song. Chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. This is nuts. Like, really nuts. If you consider an Amber, most of the time we're singing 2 cost cards, but no cost of tempo and maintaining a board state. Like, this is insane to both see your opponent's hand, which is arguable in terms of value, but discard a non-character card, target whatever counters you. Wild.
This is the best card in the set. It's not even close. It is going to have the most impact. You can no longer sit back on your red-purple control deck and, all I got to do is count to 7. Once I get to 7, I get to Be Prepared. You're not keeping a Be Prepared in your hand ever again. And if you pair this with a card that we'll see in a little while, you can double this effect, which is insane. This is by far this is by far the best card in set 3.
5 star. Play this card in your Amber decks. And now we have Cleansing Rainwater. Banish this item, remove up to 2 damage from each of your characters. Best card I've ever seen. Definite 5 star. Insane.
What is, like, you have to banish it to remove 2? What?
This feels like
don't
Dinner
we just
Bell.
have like Gumbo Pot?
This is Inkable Dinner Bell.
this so bad.
Isn't this better than Gumbo Pot?
No, Gumbo Pot removes 1 from 2 characters, and you don't have to banish it.
Oh.
This is a single use item.
Wait, do you not have to banish Gumbo Pot?
I don't think so.
I think you do. Yeah, you do.
Maybe you do.
I've played Pabby OTK. This is just better than Gumbo Pot, which doesn't make it good.
Nah. Gumbo Pot gets a target too if you're trying to do Pabby OTK.
But
that's 2 activations.
This targets everything, doesn't it? Remove up to... Oh, right. Instances.
Oh,
yeah,
it is from each of your...
This is an AoE, so... Yeah. But it's still 1 instance of healing, so it would only trigger Pabby once, compared to Gumbo Pot triggering Pabby 2. It's still bad. I don't think it's good. Heart of Atlantis, 4 cost uninkable, life giver. You pay and you pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn.
Double
Oh,
lantern.
Lantern
Yeah,
that
4
comes in
cost
at
on Inkable
4?
is too much.
You can't
Yeah,
even
it's-
ramp
yeah.
into it because it's an item?
It's a limited bomb, I will say that. This card's incredibly good in draft or cube, but outside of that, it's not doing it for me.
Yeah, don't play this in constructed. It's bait. It looks like value, but it's not.
It's like 0 to hero, just in time, all of the same cards.
Wildcat's Wrench. Tap to remove up to 2 damage from chosen location. Bad.
This card is the worst artwork in the entire set.
It's so boring, isn't it? It's just
a wrench laying in the grass.
To be fair, it's quite an artistic wrench. I'll give it that. Like, you know, the sunlight and the leaves coming down on the wrench. Yeah, 1-star card. I think it's better artwork than you say. I like it. Now we get into the difficult bit. This is where we have to start tilting our heads to read the card. Luckily for us, this one doesn't have ability text. It is don't do this when you're in a tournament to read your hand, or do like that to read. You'll give away a lot of information. Imagine you're at the Lorcana World Championship. And you're like, my neck's really sore. Oh yeah, let me just.
Somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's gonna do it. They're gonna give away such free information because they're gonna be looking at their hand. They're gonna be like, and you'll be like, he's at a location.
I don't know if anyone's still listening at this point. This is such a long video, but whoever's listening, I will give $100 to the first person at the Lorcana World Championship to use the tilting head as bait into having a location card they don't have. Like, giving away fake information. It's like, do they have it? I might have it. It's just not even in there.
I'm just gonna start doing it now. I'm gonna play non-location decks, and I'm just gonna turn my head sideways.
Just turn your head every now and again and keep them guessing.
They're gonna like bare necessities and be like, why was his head turned sideways? I don't understand.
Anyway, one cost, 1/4 Neverland Mermaid Lagoon. I feel like locations need to be more impactful to be good. This one just dies to anything.
Yeah, this one's like, there are definitely some very, very strong locations. This is just like kind of your common 1-drop location. I mean, an 0-4 for one that quests every turn, like, still isn't that bad in an aggressive shell. But yeah, it does get kind of swept up.
All right, I'm gonna say 1-star. It's there's a lot better locations. Now for the next amber location, we have 2-cost Uninkable Pridelands Pride Rock. Cost 2 to move there, 7 toughness. Characters get +2 toughness while here. If you have Prince or King character here, you pay 1 less to pay characters, and +1 law. It's interesting. For a synergistic deck, could be good.
It's really hard to rate this card. I know a lot of people are trying to break it, like with like in like a combo shell. There's like a combo deck where you can try to get Exodia and get like 4 of these in play with things at them to just be able to play goats and snakes for free over and over and over. Just keep like bouncing them. It's like OTK, but like that's Magical Fairy Christmas Land. Like that's just not gonna happen. I'm sure someone's gonna break this card at some point, but like it's a reasonable. It's got a great stat line.
Do you remember the Sheer Khan Infinite Loop from the start of last set? It's like that copium. But like, this is gonna work, guys. It's gonna break the game.
It's gonna work. It's gonna work. I mean, it's a good location. 7 willpower is a lot. It's a powerful location. I think like if you have a way of cheating characters to this location, like they also just get a stat buff too. Like, cool. Like I can turn my dude sideways safely here. You're not going to be able to challenge into them effectively. And then added bonus, it decreases the cost of everything if I've got a prince or a king there.
Yeah, I think the problem is to get the characters get +2 while here, you have to spend 2 ink, which is a lot. Like that's a lot of ink. So unless you're playing like Jim Hawkins or Ruby to cheat them into the Pride Lands.
I might have to send some people on a voyage soon.
I think the Ruby location interaction is the only thing that has me convinced on locations. Like being able to cheat the location move cost, I think is what makes them good.
Yeah, I think this is probably.
I think this card,
though. Like this is
3-star. Yeah.
Probably a 2.5. It's like in between.
I was leaning 2. All right, and final one of Amber to tilt our heads is Tiana's Palace. Now this one is one I've been thinking about a lot since I saw it revealed. And I think it's really interesting. I mean, it's really, really interesting. You're adding an 8 toughness buffer onto anything you hopefully cheat into that location to just let them keep questing and quest for one more. It's double benefit.
Imagine putting a Tiana at Tiana's palace and turning it sideways and not having any cards in hand.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
It's thematic. Like I'm gonna try it. Like I'm gonna try and do it.
That's just insane. Like it can't be Maui'd. It can't be removed because Batian is exerted. Like that's just a stun locked board, and it costs 2. It only costs 2
to move. It costs 3 to play.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
But I guess the idea with locations is you're not often playing them on curve. You're playing them when you have excess resources. All right. Well, that was Amber, and that took us 40 minutes. Let's try and crush the next Incan.
We might need to break these down into videos.
We might have to.